what's going on? Yeah, anyway, look, part two to the breaking the wild horse thing. It's like people have a tendency to run away, you know what I'm saying, from the truth, from God, from themselves. And he's got to get the lasso on you. And when it gets on you, you're like, hey, no, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. No, I'm not free. I'm not free. That's the way you feel, but you didn't realize that when you were free before, you were a fucking servant to sin, and you weren't really free. And it's like you prefer the old wine. You don't straight away desire the new wine. So it's like, I see sometimes like actually it is like that, where it's like in a metaphor or in a spiritual sense that we gotta get hunted down and lassoed and like basically broken in. And I realized there's these loops kept happening where it's like, man, this is a recurring freaking theme, or this is a frequent attack that frequent people are using. So I gotta figure out where it comes from and why it's happening to me. And that's part of breaking the wild horse too. Is like that you gotta revisit some painful things about yourself and life, and like that's if you've already went to you're already, there's two types of like preachers out here. There should be the ones that are preaching to lost people, and then the ones trying to preach to the people and keep them saved. You know what I'm saying? For basically keep them in the faith, keep them from falling away or getting wild. You know what I'm saying? And just running wild, running free too much. It's like he talks about the peacock in the wilderness. That you run up to a peacock and it's just gonna run away, and it's like, man, look, why are you running away from me? Oh, it said there's another part I heard in the Bible that made me laugh. A whore flees. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what it's like when God's talking about it. He's like, I placed you out here, pimped you all out, had you looking good, and things were taken care of, and then I leave you by yourself for a while, and I come back, and then you're hiding, you're running away. You don't know who I am. You don't know who you are. You done forgot all this stuff, and it's pretty sad. But have you ever seen someone just get full of themselves and totally forget who they really are, and then just they take Wile E. Coyote's bait and they're way hanging over the cliff, and it's like all the road runners can see it, but Wile E. Coyote can't see it for himself for some reason. Because that's the thing. It's like all these things that you got problems, man. You just happen to be blind to them. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing about once you get the breaking the wild horse thing. It's like you got to get these blinders put on. Like when you go past the topless bar, you got to have the blinders on. When you see the dope boys on the corner, you got to have the blinders on. Same thing, like earplugs. When the music starts coming on, you got to put on the earplugs. In other words, or you got to leave the room. Earlier, I felt the Disney Channel on TV hypnotizing me, and I was totally like disturbed about it, and I had to leave. The presence of the noise and all the flashing and blinking lights and all the hypnotic suggestion triggers and commands, and that's how this life kind of is, and they've designed it that way, and that's another, like on Pinocchio, they turn them into the donkeys. That's Ephraim. They're shanghaiing them, and it even showing them, it's like, look, you're being gluttonous and basically and not doing nothing productive. You might be busy playing pool all day, smoking cigars, you know what I'm saying, and drinking beers, and they ended up getting shanghaied as donkeys, and donkeys are a working animal. And that's the thing I was going to say. It says, don't muzzleth the ox that treadeth the corn. It's like, once these animals actually are trained to work, they actually prefer the work, and it's beneficial for them as it is for the other party, that there's a symbiotic relationship made there where they mutually benefit. And in the spiritual sense, that's the way I see this whole Ephraim thing. It's like they are, and me likewise, have these same traits and characteristics. And and another thing, Ephraim comes from Joseph. That's the children of Israel also when they were in Egypt in the Exodus story where they forgot who they was. They preferred it as the donkeys trapped on the island. In Shanghai amongst uh, it's like, yeah, man, change for the better is the hardest kind of change, man. Change for the worst is easy. And you know what I'm saying? Like every path leads to change for the worst, except for the right way. That's the hardest one to do sometimes, but sometimes it's just like the easiest thing to figure out. And when you find yourself trapped in the loop, you know what I'm saying? Like know this process is going on with you, where you gotta let God freaking like basically break you from the wild spirit the wild spirit that wants to run away or wants to get distracted in the wind. You know what I'm saying? And that's the wind, chasing the wind. Don't be blown by the wind of every single doctrine. In other words, it's like, look, let's get to the common denominator here, and let's not get just constantly involved in debate and contentions. Another thing, I read that Joshua 22, and the name of the altar is called Ed, and I'm at my brother Ed's house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's funny, man, how this is all working. That's what I'm saying. Those are like weird little confirmations there that I must be doing on the right track here on this particular moment. I'm on to something here. Oh yeah, man, but it's freaking funny when you find yourself trapped in the loop. It's like, don't freak out, don't try to run away. Like, look, it's like you figure out what it is. It's like, look, I just read this scripture, and it said, whether you turn to the right hand or to the left, you will hear a voice behind thee, and it'll say, this is the way, thou walk in it. And it's like, it's kind of like that. I realized that it's like you got to learn how to work together. You know what I'm saying? It's not, in a way, that's called that's being yoked or bound. You know what I'm saying? To another thing, and that's, in a way, yeah. Christ is coming in, and he's got his rope and his lasso, and he's bringing down the lost sheep. You know what I'm saying? First, or I don't know about first, but he's doing it. I've seen it. I'm experiencing it. It's not just me. I'm noticing other people are in the same freaking thing, and they might not even know it themselves. And I'm like, and it's funny to me because look, now that I'm in it, and it's like, I don't mind anymore. It actually, like, it's rewarding, and it's helpful. You know what I'm saying? Before, it was all trying to figure it out on your own, but actually to have help to do this thing it makes it a lot more interactive. So it's like, it's not just like a form of entertainment or nothing. It's like it's really heavy. It's like better than video games in a way, because it's real life, and there's like so many things going on right now that you can pay attention to and learn and benefit from. And because if you catch on to these true things and start to do them and like, what's the word, integrate them into your life and your understanding, it helps the others around you too. Like I said, when I look around and I'm like, whoa, I'm not the only one who's going through this, it helps me calm down, settle down, not stampede and spook the herd. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. What this thing does, it's like, horses have this tendency to go ree, 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 when they get freaked out, and that's got to get all out of you. So you might have some freakouts because you got to learn in the loop, like, wait, why do I keep freaking out? Why am I freaking out? And then in the pursuit of figuring that out is the next clue, the next lesson, the next breadcrumb, the next time around the circle that, you know what I'm saying? You can change directions now. You might have to go through that for a while before you get to learn how to be usable. You know what I'm saying? And not get freaked, not stampede, not get, take off your blinders in a way. Because look, by putting on the blinders, you see more because you're focusing on Christ. And when you take them off, you can see a lot, but you don't need to be paying attention and seeing everything that you're seeing anyway. It's like, in other words, the blinders helps you check the woman in the red dress matrix kind of program, because that doesn't just mean that could mean anything. It's just an example to show you how it works. And yeah, man, it's like, no, this is a good thing. It's a good thing, but I know it's not an easy thing. You know what I'm saying? But one of the loops is lack of acknowledgement of certain things in your life, or certain truths, or misunderstanding that you got. It's like, you'll get on this freaking loop. In order to snip the loop, you gotta defeat it in a way. It's like defeating a stage on a freaking video game. Or they'll be like, before you can unlock this door, go get this thing and then bring it back. And then you can unlock the door, and then there's a new little submission in there that is going to be it's key to the puzzle anyway. Because it is like a puzzle. It's like, another thing you got to do is you got to learn to trust. Whoever wild horses need to learn to trust freaking whoever's using them. So therefore, it's about, that's another part of it. Trust. Learning what that really means. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know what your particular thing is going to be, so I can't tell you what exactly to look for, other than the fact that, like, once you recognize